Right.
Are live on Facebook and YouTube. And
All right.
we're live on Instagram.
Yeah, how's everyone doing out there?
Guys.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us. We had some technical difficulties pretty much all week long, actually since last week, onboarding our new POS system. And in the meantime, I decided to yell and party and have a really good time, and I lost my voice. How's your voice today?
I'm just kind of shy, so it's a little soft.
Oh, okay.
But that's why we have microphones.
Everyone should be happy that my voice is a little soft. At least it's not as manly as it was the past couple of days. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this started. So we'll do our official welcome, if my scroller can scroll. Yeah, we're so professional. So, aloha mai kako, my name is Tidue Bishan, and welcome to Around the Bowl. Here we have open conversations with people in our community that align with health and wellness. And as you know, we serve a medicinal drink from Polynesia with the intent to be true to its medicines and serve a greater purpose. We have decided to host a podcast. So Kava specifically is used in many forms, but perhaps one of the greatest of its medicines is the ability to lower our egos and converse about important topics from neighboring or opposing villages. As the modern world and science develops, they find that these ancient Polynesian wisdoms and plant medicines are in fact proven and work. So our focus can be on mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial, and emotional health and wellness, also in arts and cultures and much more. It's the way we build community and we celebrate our village. So we do have a disclaimer, and as always, these are professional and personal opinions. We encourage everyone to do their own research and find what works best for them. With the right intention, all good things begin and end with aloha. Aloha. Our special guest today hails from right here in Central Florida. Her name is Zion Cruz. She is a singer-songwriter, Kava Lounge owner. You're not a bar owner. Yeah, she's a co-owner. She's a Kava Lounge co-owner. She owns the Kava Bowl here with her sister, Arian Komalani, and with the help of these really awesome people, incredible people, just Adam and T, they're amazing people, aren't they? Yes. So anyways, without further ado, please help me welcome Zion Cruz. Aloha.
Aloha.
All right. So this is interesting because we sit here now as mother and daughter, but I hope that we can be a little bit of strangers today so we can learn more about who Zion Cruz is. Who is she? So let's talk a little. You were born in
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida. You were
10 minutes down the street.
10 minutes down the street. So you're like homegrown here, right?
Yes, homegrown.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I have seen your video. I'm playing like I've never done this wrong. I've seen a lot of your videos, and you are very culturally fluent. How did that come about, being born and raised in Orlando, Florida?
Well, my parents made sure that I was raised with culture, especially on my Polynesian side, Hawaiian, Tahitian. My mom really made sure that we were honed in on that and focusing on it. And kind of growing up too, I guess it was kind of different because, American culture is very different than Polynesian culture. There are similarities, of course, but I always felt like a little different, almost like I was foreign to this land, even though I'm not really. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I feel like I kind of can understand people outside of the U.S. as well.
It's really cool, and actually that's the title of our podcast tonight is Mixed Roots, right? Or Meet Your Roots. Meet Your Roots.
Same difference.
listen, I think we're a couple shows in already, and we're just getting started. Um, so yeah, it's really been interesting now. Play the mom part again. To be your mom and to be able to raise you with culture when surroundings are they are very diverse here in Central Florida, and I can appreciate that. And it's one thing that I love about raising my girls here, and it's just the diversity overall. But it's been interesting to raise you more towards the traditional side of Polynesia versus the commercial side of Polynesia. What would you think defines the difference?
I feel like we've talked a lot about intention, being that you're a mom, but also being that we work here together. And something that I've noticed with a lot of people who come in here as well is intention. Just really taking the time to understand and not selling out.
That's a big one, you know. Yeah, she's my daughter. So when I refer to the commercial aspect of this, Central Florida is known for their entertainment and hospitality, and Polynesians have been in Central Florida, entertaining for over 60 years now. So in the 1950s, the Mai Kai opened, and it opens the door for Polynesians to come into Florida. Walt Disney loved it so much that he decided he was going to start something, and moved to California and put together this whole concept of the tiki room, and then they decided to build a Polynesian resort when they built Walt Disney World here, which brought even more Polynesians. And then there was also SeaWorld Adventure Park that had a Polynesian luau. And through time, we had the best. So the top of the top were hired to work at these theme parks, and I'm that generation that came with them. And in time, we've seen the culture change, and it's something that you and I have talked about, the difference of knowing tradition and knowing entertainment. And so you're in the entertainment industry today.
Yes.
And specifically, you do luau shows as well. Did you grow up doing luau shows?
Yes. Yeah, and I think, I don't know how old I was in the first show. I started off as a dancer, and then I got really stubborn and was like, no, I want to be like Adele. And I stopped dancing, which I regret to this day.
Yeah, you can still dance. Yeah. Doesn't mean that you can't learn again or can't do it.
It's true. I do it at home, but not in front of people anymore. But I don't know, I feel like I was able to kind of hide behind an instrument. Yeah, and that's kind of where I felt more comfortable.
Let's talk about that a little. No. She said no. Yeah, so at what point were you like, I am going to be involved, but I'm only going to do music? Was there a specific turning point, or?
Middle school.
Middle school.
That was my rebellious stage. Super rebellious.
Yeah, the black eyeliner stage.
Yeah, black eyeliner, the glitter that I always said was just sweat.
Yeah. And I remember those days.
The hair going across the face.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that. But what was the point where you were like, I want to play music instead?
Oh, I feel like it was definitely a turning point is when I wrote my first real song, which was Boys. always hurt me, hurt my feelings. But out of that, I learned how to channel that emotion, that hurt, that pain, into music, and I found that it was something that other people could relate to as well, which I felt like I had a hard time really connecting with people before that because I'm so shy. But yeah, it kind of really helped to open dialogue.
Yeah, to open a little bit of dialogue. So, how old were you again?
I think I was
11.
maybe 12.
Maybe 12. And how old were you when you first started playing music?
How old was I when I first started playing music?
A baby.
A baby. I was a baby.
You were a baby. Zion, she practically came out the womb singing. And I remember holding her for the very first time and looking into her eyes and feeling the lullaby of her soul. I knew at that moment that she would carry forth the culture through music. And it's interesting because I come from a family of master musicians, singers, songwriters, and very stronghold in Tahiti as well as in Hawaii. And my siblings are so incredibly talented in music, and I feel like probably skipped me and went to you. And I was like, yes, I got the music.
You can play music. You
Yeah,
have a nice voice.
yeah,
It just takes a little more confidence.
yeah, I think you're right. I think that's why I hid behind dancing, right?
And I hid behind music.
Yeah, it's funny how we kind of find our comfort zones in that. But so I can recall you saying to me at a very, very young age that you wanted your own CD. CDs, oh, plural, excuse me.
Oh no, I was laughing at how long ago that was.
Oh, yeah. Well, you are getting old there, Zion.
I know.
Good thing I was still young and can remember that. So, yeah, you were very young and you said, Mommy, I want my own CD. And I said, okay. And we started working on it since you were young, and Dad got a whole recording system at home. It was a pretty professional recording system. And what is the first thing you remember recording?
A Christmas album. That's why I started giggling. Yeah, I don't remember if it was a Christmas album or like just like several tracks to my uncle who lived in Utah at the time. It was that one.
Yeah. You guys are making little things.
Yeah.
You and your sister and
And
Dad.
then switch up words to like songs that already existed and leave funny messages for him and for them. Because the Christmas album ended up going out to all of our family.
Yeah, it was awesome. All family. That's what they looked forward to every single year. And
We
then
had a few volumes of those too.
yeah. We gotta find those. I think did we ever digitize them? I don't know. 'Cause I didn't even wear it. Whatever. But so before we get on to Kava, I'm just gonna jog your memory on that because I feel like we need to go there for a second. You brought your ukulele with you. So let's see. What's a song from one of your albums, Christmas albums, that you remember? I'm gonna say one that I loved. And I don't know if you could still play it. That's it. It's a song that you and your auntie wrote together. And Ari.
My sister.
Just play what you remember.
And that's all I remember.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite ones. I remember taking that CD to work and I was listening to it and I was like, what is that? I was like, it's my kids, my kids. And everybody loved it. But so obviously music's been around in your life, before your life. When you look at where you started with your music and from a point from rewriting little catchy songs like Frosty the Snowman and what was the other one? It was when you somebody snitched on me.
Yeah. Oh, what is that song?
I poured some fingernail polish. I don't know. Whatever.
Somebody snitched on me.
That's it. To
Somebody snitched on me. Yeah.
it was so much fun just hearing you guys be able to switch those and make it your own song. Do you think that had any influence on your music when you began writing?
Oh, probably. Yeah. I think it opened up a level of creativity. That, and I would write little, like there's one that I remember, it's school drools or something like that. Like it was right before like
with Kiara. Remember you guys?
No, I sang that to her,
Okay.
but I wrote that one just like I wrote it actually at the canal in Papa and Chichi sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was for your class project too, right? You submitted it. Yeah, we designed a little CD sticker album.
Oh my
Remember
gosh!
that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. That's crazy. That's crazy. So from Auntie Beba playing music for you and Dad playing music for you and Papa playing music for you to then you playing music on your own and kind of starting off in this new creative field, you began to also blossom in your lyrics. And they became more and more profound. And I think for me, one of the big changes that I really began to hear is when you started playing guitar. What was that like, switching from ukulele to guitar?
I honestly don't remember the transfer. It just felt like it was really easy. Because I'll tell you guys a little bit music theory of ukulele to guitar. If you take a capo, so it like holds the strings all the way across, almost like bars it across. If you put it on the 5th fret and you play only the high strings, it's the exact same tuning as the ukulele. And I feel like understanding the music theory just made it super easy to switch up and add those 2 extra strings. But yeah, I kind of forgot that I didn't play guitar before.
Yeah, and I think with the depth of the guitar, or the fullness of the guitar, came a fullness of expression and emotion that began to emerge from you. And I would hear you practice like at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't sleep.
Yeah, and I began to hear just this change in the way you sang and how you sang, and I know a lot of it was kind of influenced by some of the current music at the time, which was Mumford and Sons,
Adele.
Yeah.
I started listening to Sarah Bareilles too, but it was definitely like the Mumford and Sons and Adele moment for a hot moment.
Yeah, and all the Disney kids music. Yeah.
Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, Jonas Brothers.
Just to let you guys know how much I love her. I would watch the same episode 20 million times.
They weren't the same. She
Yes,
has
they were.
superpowers because she's ADHD and can figure out everything that's happening in a show or a movie before it's even
No, they're
played.
the same, trust me. Because when Tutu starts saying, I thought we already saw this, it's the same. It's the same. But anyways, jumping back to it. So I began hearing this change, and Dad said to me one day when I came home, he said, hey, have you heard Zion sing this one song she wrote? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you gotta hear it. It's really good. And I was like, okay. He's like, no, it's really, really good. And he's like, she's trying to figure it out. And she's developing her own sound. He's like, it's kind of Mumford & Sons, kind of Adele, kind of like, who's the other people you listened to at the time?
Tracy Chapman.
Yeah, a little bit of Tracy Chapman. Who's that?
I listened to a lot of Ingrid Michaelson. Regina Spektor. I listened to her too.
I think Regina came on a little bit when you were in high school. Yeah. When you were in high school. But anyways, so I said, okay. So I called her over and I was like, hey, can you play me that song that Dad's talking about? And I remember you rolling your eyes like you were so embarrassed, and I was like, what? And you're like, it's not good. And I was like, well, I want to hear it. And you're like, Mom. So I was like, just play it for me. I promise I won't judge. So, here's your guitar. And,
I think I know which one it is.
yeah, you think you know it. Yes, it is.
It's in the guitar. Sorry, my dad is being cameraman and roadie and kava tender all in one.
Speaking of kava tender, we have some right here
We should
before us.
probably
Yeah,
drink some
we should
kava.
probably do that. What are we drinking tonight?
We're drinking Fijian Gandavo.
Oh, Fijian Kava. So, welcome to all of our Fijian family out there.
Oh, I think Pharaohs was watching. I don't know if he's watching, but
Hey,
he was
Pharaoh
commenting
Pharaohs.
earlier. So, yeah.
We're gonna get to some of those comments and I have some questions that you can ask.
It's in the pocket. Look, the top pocket. I sent my dad on a goose chase. Goose hunt? I don't know. So. Something. I don't know.
What do we have? That's good. This thing's gonna get longer now. Alright, so I said, go get your guitar, I wanna hear. And you're like, Mom, that typical teenager, do I have to? And I was like, yeah, just, come on, Zion, just do it. And I remember you, sat there for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to be patient. Then I was like, do it, Zion. Yeah, that look, exactly. That's the look right there. See that look? And I was like, come on, Zion. And I said, you asked me for a CD when you were little. And I said, okay, we'll make it happen. How can we make it happen if you won't even play the song for me? So it took her another minute before she strummed out this, her very first song she wrote on guitar. It's been a long time. Good thing, Dad. It's his favorite song.
Okay, my dad remembers the lyrics. Sometime last week, I lost my heart. Then my embrace. So I guess all I have left are the tears on my pillow, tears on my window pane. Here we are, standing in the rain. Do you think nothing's changed? Can't you see the pain in my eyes? No, but do you have nothing to say? Can't you hear the strain in my voice as I talk to you? I yell at you and scream. Does it feel the same when she looks your way? Oh, does it feel the same? 'Cause I saw you both outside my window. Guess that's why they call me window pane. I'm sorry. It's a love for me that never came. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Here we are, standing in the rain. Or do you think nothing's changed? Can't you see the pain in my eyes? No. Do you have nothing to say? Can't you hear the strain in my voice as I talk to you? I yell at you and scream. As I talk to you, I yell at you and scream. Are you sorry? Well, I'm sorry for you not being too sorry now. 'Cause for you will be.
Tense. I remember being speechless. Because you were how old? I was like, what the heck is happening to my daughter? What kind of emotions is she having? Because she can write this deep. And I know Dad contributed a little bit and some of those lyrics, but that all came from where? Let's say no, I didn't contribute. It was a great support for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where did those lyrics come from, Zoe? Where did that emotion come from? Where did that emotion come from?
Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was an emotion that I'd never truly felt before, which is why it was so like, agonizing. But I had to write it to get it out, to express it. So I didn't know how to just express it speaking.
Yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift because I remember thinking, why is it that that song applies to every adult that I know who's gone through a breakup? You know, every person that I know in this world has probably felt that very same emotion. And here's my 11, 12-year-old daughter singing our lives. What the heck are they teaching you in middle school? It was unbelievable, and I was like, she's ready, right? Then it was like, oh, you need to write. Okay, can you write a song about this? Write a song about that, and I know I overwhelmed you.
Yes.
I did. I know I did. But I always believed in you, and I think everyone who ever heard you sing when you were a child and play music when you were a child just knew that that was in there the whole time. We didn't know how powerful it was, but we knew it was there. Like your mother speaks through your music, and it gave birth to a new set of expressions for you. So, kind of a nice trip down memory lane, a little bit there, right? From when you were a young child to now you're in adolescence and you're experiencing life and being able to not lock that emotion in, but to release it in your own way. I think it's important. And go ahead.
If I can say something, I heard you talking to one of our regulars, Gunner. Shout out to Gunner.
Gunner, shout out to Gunner.
Yeah. Also sending Gunner a lot of love because he did something incredible.
1 year.
But you were talking to Gunner, and I overheard it, and you said music is emotional intelligence.
It is.
And I thought that was very interesting because I felt like I wasn't very emotionally intelligent. Because the only way I knew how to express it was through music. But yeah, I thought that was really cool to hear you say.
Yeah, I think music has something for every emotion. From rock to rap to jazz to I feel like I have a jazz voice right now. Like I should be on a
Know that jazz.
So, but yeah, every different emotion can be related to music, and that's why movies use music to drive that emotion in their storyline. Because could you imagine movies or TV shows, commercials without music? What about the pharmaceutical ones? What happens if they take music out of there? That'd be so crazy, right?
Yeah.
It would
Just
be
be
like,
like, I can't even speak that fast. Oh, it'd be funny because like may cause heart disease. And like there's nothing like playing
soft
happy.
and ambient.
Yeah, it's just like saying all the things.
Yeah, I think about it like when I look at it, I think of Just 3D. It was a movie when I was young, and it was scary, right? And there was like low budget, and so they couldn't do all these shots with the shark, and they kind of had to repeat them over and over. But it was the music that got you. Do you know the music to Jaws? That's it. That's it. Now imagine them just filming this like fake shark, just you know. So, music really builds the intensity for those
It's
emotions.
just like
You just hear splashing, splashing. No, and that's something that I think most people know when you start going da da, you know, they start to like, oh my gosh, that's the shark.
and even like in music theory, that interval, it's a minor second, and that interval causes like kind of like a little bit of tension in you, and I think that's why they chose that as the sound of the shark.
It's interesting too, right? Because you're talking about minors. I remember you wrote a song. I think you were like maybe 12, maybe a little bit older. And it was in minors. And I remember your music teacher from elementary school. So sending aloha to the Bezedics, Mr. and Mrs. Bezedic. They were amazing.
Incredible.
And they still are.
Yeah, and they still support to this day.
They do. All their students.
Yeah, like 20 years ago, you were my teacher, and you still support me.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And even before that,
Yeah.
my sister went to school
Yeah.
with them, and she loved music because of that. And the Wolfgang family,
Yes, yeah.
you know, Ivan Lotu.
Mhm.
There's so many talented Polynesians that have gone through Weingart, but also just kids in general who have made music and art from being inspired from them. So yeah, but I remember Mrs. B and her mother-in-law came out to see you, and I think you were at Infusion Tea. Over there in Edgewood. Do you remember Edgewater?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and we were
I
sitting on
remember
the
that
wall. We were sitting on the wall.
Like right in front of the
Yeah,
windows.
okay, so let me just jog your memory. Okay, so it was a farmer's market,
Mhm.
and you guys got the log pets. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, you guys got these, I don't know, it was like this little tiny stick with
The
big
googly eyes.
googly eyes and a
Like
sweater.
yeah.
They were so happy. I was like, whatever.
I think I just got rid of that like when I moved.
Should have gave it to Megan. So anyways, but I'm gonna go back to some of the lyrics because that I think I can remember. Aloha, have a good night. It's like, do you think that in fact, so
do you think it helps when you're not here and that I don't see the fear that you've been hiding?
Yeah.
Do you think that I just don't care and that life's not really fair for you? Do you feel pain anymore? Do your problems wash ashore? Listen to what I've got to say, even if you think you're okay.
That's it.
I don't remember the rest of it. You'll never be perfect to yourself. You'll never feel right in your own skin. You'll never find happiness in this state of mind. You'll never do anything right, 'cause it's all in your mind, it's all you. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, I remember that because remember, what was it name? He's like, oh, play that mariachi song.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, mariachi song. So actually, you opened with that at the social.
Did I?
Yeah, how old were you when you opened up the social?
I think I was 15.
Yeah, you opened for
Horizon, yeah, for the Wolfgang.
Yeah, so shout out to the Wolfgang
Horizon,
family
Leilani.
and Horizon for
because Leilani was also there.
for giving her that opportunity. I remember that. You played the social how many times?
Twice.
Twice, yeah.
And
Yeah,
both times are open for them, which
Yeah.
is super cool.
yeah.
Well,
It's
thank
super
you
cool
guys
that
for
they,
the opportunity. Yeah.
they gave you that opportunity. But I remember when you first started playing it, because I think you guys put it to a little bit of punk reggae too.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of going with the flow of Horizon a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Who backed you up? Let's talk about that. Who backed you up?
Oh yeah, my uncles. Yeah, that was cool.
And who else?
And David Poso. Yeah, David is still dope. And I think the first time Uncle Jeremy Hagan, he was my roadie, and I think I borrowed his guitar too.
Yeah, no, not just guitar. He brought like guitars,
lines
for you
of
to
guitars.
select from.
Yeah, that was super cool.
I mean, how lucky are you?
Oh my
Number
gosh,
one.
I took lessons from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Oh, and
did.
it was like
And
down
it was,
there.
right down the
Yeah,
street
it was
by
literally like
Johnny's.
6 minutes away. Yeah. That's oh my gosh.
I tell you, you're such a lucky girl to be blessed with a lot of musical talent, and for them to take you under their wing and to share with you that. And we're gonna touch on that
Daniel
just a little bit more. Yeah, Daniel
Willie
Flores,
Colon.
Willie Colon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Still is helping me out to this
Yes,
day.
I'm
But
gonna
we'll
get
get
to
there.
that.
We'll get
I'm gonna
there.
get to that. But that song in particular, yeah, I think let's have.
I didn't want to look so high.
I didn't see. You gotta remind me. I'm not good at this.
I also forgot. Kava is nice. Hey Manny. How are you?
Aloha.
Aloha.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thanks for the bag. Yes. I really wanted it when I first saw it. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And then when you gave it, I was like, he was me.
Yeah, it's drink
And I
to that.
saw it and I
Yes.
was like, this is a it's a little coconut bowl.
Yeah.
We're gonna drink to that. That was
Manuia.
such a cute
Manuia.
little coconut bag.
Is that what it is? It's coconut?
Are you serious?
I mean,
What did you think it was?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It looked kind of like what is that, like, game that, you know what I'm talking about?
No?
It was like the space, like, astronaut things. It literally is like a, you know what?
Oh
I'll put it in
yeah. I
the-
know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, there were a bunch of different colors, and then,
Yeah.
like, they're secretly, like, killing each other or something like that. You have to find out.
No,
who the
that's not what
murderer
I
is.
thought they were. I thought it was from Moana.
Oh,
Those crazy
but
things that
those
are on
are
the
also
ship.
coconuts.
Yeah, they're also coconuts.
So,
whatever.
she
We're
was more right
coconuts.
than I was even. Anyway,
Yes, it's a
sidetracked.
We get sidetracked over here.
amongst us.
Kava, no, I think this is just regular. Kava might.
Amongst us, that's what it is. Yes, that's what I thought it was.
Sweet salty, shut up.
Hey, Sweet Salty, thanks for jumping on.
There
Hey.
you go for some local mocha, bro.
Where can we find them?
What was it? So Sweet and Salties, they used to be a food truck, now they are a brick and mortar. They are over at Henry's Depot across from Greenery Creamery in Sanford, Florida.
Yeah, and some interesting news and some exciting news is that they also have kava and some teas, some creative teas. So
Living Vitality.
and
Oh,
Living Vitality.
Yeah,
So don't forget to go over there and check them out. If you're in Sanford and you need to pick up some kava, go and see them. You need to check their Instagram for their hours. I believe they close by 8, but 8 or 9, yeah. So go check out Sweet and Salties. I'm so excited because we're gonna take Tanawa Talk to. I'm sorry, we're gonna take her on the bowl. this Kava's hitting. We're gonna take the Tanoa to Sanford, and we're gonna actually do a podcast with them over there, and share some of the best on-kind kava with them. So, yeah, Brother Will loves some kava, and he did Hawaii for quite a long time, and always good people. So, all right, you know what? I used to laugh at my uncles and aunties when they would drink, because I was like, man, where are they going with this conversation? And now I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I am them. I have become them. So, but I know we were going down memory lane and going back to that song, but the lyrics, you say, you basically are saying, do you know who you are? Wait, hit that chorus again.
You'll never be perfect to yourself. You'll never feel right in your own skin. You'll never find happiness in the state of mind. You'll never do anything right because it's all in your mind. It's all you.
Yeah, it's all in your mind. It's all you. And I remember thinking, holy crap! Who's messing with my daughter? I'm gonna go over there and beat them up. Why is she feeling this way? You know, and I would try to read your emotions through your songs, and I was like, oh, that's it. Oh, hell no. I'm going to roll up to the school. I'm going to pop out. I don't care how old they are. I'm going to knock them all over because they're not going to make my girl feel like this, right? And then I remember trying to have...
It makes for good songs.
It does. It makes for excellent songs. And I remember having that conversation with you, like, you know, trying to do, is everything okay? And you're like,
All right.
yeah.
Listen, we're gonna switch it right here, real quick, to when I guess my mom was tired of seeing me sad, but she was like, "Can you not write a happy song? Can you write something not sad?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Are you depressed?" And I was like, "No." But to kind of justify myself in that, it's harder for me to write happier music because I think that hurt and sadness and anger and pain is something that I don't like to have inside me. So it's easier for me to expel those in songs than it is for me to carry them with me.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, we have questions.
Oh, we have questions. Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Is there
From
questions?
No.
Tina Romero.
Oh, hey, hi.
Aloha, Tina.
It says, Zion, as a daughter, what would you say to parents of children that are into music or in arts in general?
So I'm going to repeat that. This question is coming from Tina Romero, and she's asking, as a parent, as a daughter, daughter, parent, same thing after a while. Okay, read that again.
Okay, so she basically said, Zion, as a daughter, what are... I don't remember.
Go ahead and read it again.
Sorry, Miss Tyler.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Is this a really good fun moment here?
Zion, as a daughter, what would you say to parents of children that are into music or arts in general?
So Zion, as a daughter,
What would
you say to parents that are into music or
have children?
Oh yeah, that have children who are into music and or arts, I guess. Let them express it in any form that they can. Whatever it comes out as, it is. And yeah, let it be genuine from their heart, because you'll start to understand them a little bit more as well.
It's a really good one. Can they express it during the hours
Absolutely.
before 11 p.m.?
No. Some creative brains, because yours is also like this, work better after hours.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I just don't have that music in, so I'm a little more quiet on that. I remember
Yours is very visual and like physical.
Yeah.
Mine is just noise.
Yeah, I remember trying to go to bed and I'm like, this song is very beautiful. If it were sung at the right time.
I think you sent me a text like that one time. Like, yeah, that's a great song, Zion, but stop now. It's 3 a.m.
I was like, oh my God, I'm getting old, because those were the witching hours where I would sit there and draw and create and yeah. So anyways, thanks for that question, Tina.
Yes,
Tina also comes from a very musical, talented family. musically talented family, and from her father and her husband and her children and herself as well. And I know I was talking about really saying, I don't have the musical talent that my family does. I know I'm capable. I did play instruments, but I more so enjoy hearing music and seeing people enjoy music, and which kind of leads me into the segue of what was it like for you when you went to Hawaii and Tahiti with Papa and Tutu, and you guys played music with just Papa and then Uncle Tupunan and all your cousins and aunties, uncles, and all of the brain that you guys experienced, or Kanikapila. What was that like?
I felt like, even though I may not have been able to communicate with them, maybe they spoke French or Bamot or Tahitian, in Hawaii there wasn't really a problem communicating because,
How's that? How's that?
It's good. But but I definitely I felt a sense of family, like it just a connectivity, and it was kind of cool being able to go in like island girl, like diaspora, going from Orlando back to my island roots and being able to be like, yeah, I know this song. And then the elders being like, you know that song? Oh, that's no way. And then even like some of my cousins being like, I don't even know that song.
Yeah.
How do you know that song? They're like, oh, you're so lucky to have your papa. You're so lucky to have your grandpa with you.
I think that's it really is a bonus, I would say, to be able to connect with your tupuna on that level, because so many of our younger generations have become more westernized in their music, and that's just how time changes. But Matani Kainuku said it during our Heva here, Heva Maui in 2019. He says it's like barefoot boys came to, what do you say, came to America, I don't want to quote it exactly, and never left. And it's like we kept the culture pure.
Yeah, I think he said it was like Tahiti frozen in time.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool. Just like having somebody come from the island to enjoy the richness of the culture. Even though he lives in the island with the culture, it was a step back in time for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even he and the other judges commented that they could actually speak Tahitian. It was the first time really outside of Tahiti where they were judging, and they could actually speak Tahitian and not English or French or Japanese, and they could actually speak their own native tongue. Yeah, it was Kehal. Kehal, yeah. With that. So one thing that really impressed them, and which impresses a lot of people, is not only that you can sing the music, but you can also play the music, and there's particular strumming that comes from the Tuamotus, the Ba'amotu people. They're crazy. I love them. They're like so savage. And there's a particular sound that you know and you recognize that's from those islands, and it's where my grandmother's from, and I know the sound from Tahiti, and I know the sound from all the different Polynesian islands, and they all have their own styles, but for me that Ba'amotu sound is so important to keep going, because it's just a small group of islands, and as the world is just becoming so international in terms of the internet and how everybody kind of wants to do what the other person is doing. It's awesome that you, a young person, can still hold on to those traditions and strike a chord with your ancestors. And it, I think, also inspires some of the youth over there to think, well, I need to learn. In fact, they started to, right?
Yeah, it was just really special nights, especially the last time I was in Tahiti. We were staying at the Tibera's beach house, which is gorgeous, and
Punaauia.
in Punaauia, and we had Mato, Teruhe, Old Man, Aihara, Abel. So we had quite a few, and Leah came as well.
Lehi. Lehi?
Oh yeah, and Leah, hey, what's up? But
Shout out to all the cousins over
shout out to
there.
everybody. But it just beautiful nights where we would sit and they would be like, Papa, teach us the song, and it felt like, I don't know, like we were like little kids in a sense, and
Including Papa.
yeah, including Papa. And I think that's what I loved about traveling with Papa as well, is Papa is an older person, and kind of watching him return to childhood in his lands,
Yeah.
and seeing him like get really excited about certain plants that he sees, and like, oh, I remember when I jumped off this cliff, and I'm like, what?
Did you follow him? Zoe?
Absolutely not. I am a scaredy cat. But yeah, those nights were just so rich, in music and connectivity.
Yeah. Definitely. Play me something. What's a song that reminds you of that night?
It doesn't have the strum.
Well, we'll just play it a little, and then we'll talk about the strum after.
Let me just make sure this isn't too.
And what are we? Are we at like 2 hours already? I don't know.
I think we're on 1.
Okay, we're not doing too bad.
45.
Yeah, so we're on almost 1.
Almost one.
Would you, while I'm playing this, would you check the comments on the Facebook and the YouTube? It's gonna be on my phone, which is facing us.
It's gonna be like my face in the.
Hey.
Not this side, the other side. Because that one, your face will be there.
Yeah, we're so tech savvy today.
Okay, so this is Rumaru. And everyone was really excited to learn this song. Yeah. Which also reminds me of Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it does. I just watched that video the other day.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
The streamers.
What's that?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's an amazing song, and I remember seeing that video, and I think it was like it was Mako's face, and he was on the banjo. I remember his face was just kind of like this, and like he was just soaking it all in.
It was like pure bliss.
Yeah, it was. It's, and that's such a. It's a very romantic, very sultry song as well, but in that moment of watching the video, it didn't matter what the song was about as much as I felt like it mattered who was there and playing. Yeah.
Very, very much so. I mean, the song, like you said, is very like, you know.
Yeah.
But, I think we have somebody walking in. Hey. Hey, aloha, welcome.
Welcome to the show, guys.
But yeah, it's really amazing.
Oh
Oh yeah.
like
It is a very like, you know, a song like that, but it really mattered who was there and who was learning the song, you know. And even like Mahara and Abel, right? Mahara, she was just there listening and watching Abel, who is her partner, and you know he's like trying to soak up the music, and she's just like just in love, you know. And I feel like it really translated beautifully, like to them, because of that, because it is talking about that, but also like just admiring, like the admiration.
Yeah.
The person that you love as they're doing something that they love.
Yeah, and I also think like at that moment too, I think everybody was kind of like just hardcore crushing on Papa.
Oh yeah,
right.
all the time.
And I love watching everybody's like the way that they looked at him. They like romanticized his music, right? Like, and I still do every time when he plays that song or basically any song. Except for his Taco Bell, Jingle Bell one. No, we don't have to go there. But anytime my dad picked up any instrument and he played, I just remember feeling like, I so love that. I love every moment of that. And I remember watching the video from here and just bawling my eyes out because number one, I was jealous that I wasn't there. But number two, just remembering how I grew up and then seeing it go on to the next generation and seeing that connect, knowing that the Maritarangi family, the Bishan family here in the United States is so strong still in their culture and it's so much that we could take it back home and share. I think was the interesting cross cultures is the same culture, right? But it's sort of that case. It was like a
little bit.
A cultural exchange.
Yeah.
From Marite, from America to the Whenua, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah. So, speaking of that song, you mentioned Puerto Rico, and I was watching the film when we went to Puerto Rico for the first time, and you were asked to sing that song, and Ari danced at Neftali's wedding, at Dad's cousin's wedding. Remember that? Yeah, Neftali. And first of all, I remember it being very religious and very respectful, and there was no other dancing, and then there was Tahitian dancing, and I thought, oh my God, we're going to hell. Us savages are going to hell.
I can only imagine her watching like.
But she actually was like awestruck, you know?
Yeah.
I think she was.
Which I think is mostly what happens, but if she would have known what the song was saying, she would have been like, no.
That's why I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, oh my God. Don't move your hips as much. You know, it's just kind of walk it. Small. Think small. You know, like how you dance and then I have to yell at you to think. Yeah, think opposite. Yeah. And I was like, Zion, don't put so much love into this. Don't make it so sultry.
But it needed to be there.
I know, it
it's
did.
A wedding.
It did. And then Esteban was with us. Esteban and Whoopi was with us, right? So Esteban jumped on the conga, remember? And it just put that Spanish touch to it. And it's actually, it's a Latin, yeah, it brought that little bit of romance to it, right? And, but it makes you really look at the relationship of music and how cross-culture it is.
It's a universal language.
It is. So what type of beat is that Uma is today?
No, bolero. It's a
Bolero,
There
yeah.
we go.
I was waiting for you. So
Starts with the
so yeah. So it's bolero, which is of the Spanish influence. And so having Esteban, who is from Venezuela, not Honduras, I always say Honduras. Shout out to the people from Honduras too, I'm not saying anything bad about you, but this girl in Venezuela is Esteban, and they is very musically talented, comes from a musical family too. So it kind of brought it together and it made Puerto Rico more magical for all of us. I remember being at the Airbnb and we were staying in Naranjito, way up in the mountains, crazy. It was just like this house on the side of a mountain. Remember that?
It was a little magical.
It was magical. It was. And I remember you guys were just doing Karikabila, just jam sesh. And Noelle was there,
Yes.
Tina, Victor, Kiki. Yeah, it was amazing. It was a great night. And just hearing everybody exchange music. And then also when we went to the Castillo.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? We were in the courtyard that night. And Jolivet came.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jolivet came as well. And I think we missed our salsa classes
Yes.
for like the second time.
But jams are more important.
It was super dope. Just everyone.
Yeah, Julie had her, I forget what those are called.
Yeah, you know those little piano control thingies?
Yeah, that she like blow into or
Yeah.
sing into.
I don't know. It's kind of
There's
like,
some
sounds like
kind
a
of
little
something.
accordion kind of thing.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that was a really
And
dope night.
Julie is incredibly talented.
Yeah,
as well.
as well, yeah. I mean, we just talked about music on both sides. So I'm glad we looped it to that point because I wanted to bring in the fact that on your Spanish side, on your cruise side, you have amazing talent in Dad's family. And yeah, El Trio de Hoy with Gusto and Freddie and Jeannie. And I say it like that because I'm such a super fan of Jeannie.
She's incredible. Just, it's like, you give her an instrument, give her like 5 minutes, and she can play that
Okay, I'm
instrument.
gonna do my impression of her. I'm gonna do my impression. Okay, we needed a bass player for
Oh, yeah.
when we decided to keep the band back up and going. And so my dad was like, "Hey, well, we need a bass player," and we knew Jeannie played keyboard. And she was amazing at keyboard, but she was just one of those people that could pick up anything. So we're like, well, let's just ask Jeannie.
And sing.
Yeah, and sing. And then she's like, oh my God, this is my impression of her. Oh my God, I can't play that. She's like, I've never played that in my life. Oh my God, you think I can play that? 5 minutes later, and this girl's like ripping out on the bass. And she's like, oh my God, that's crazy. What'd she call it?
The bipolar polka.
The bipolar polka. She plays Tahitian music like it's nobody's business. She renames it, you know,
To ways that she remembers.
Yeah, to ways that she remembers, like the bipolar polka. But amazing.
Or Or another one of my favorites is the arthritis. So her hand gets stuck like this for like 5 minutes after the song.
But it's just on both sides, you're very fortunate to be blessed with that. And on let's talk about your experience with Freddie, with Theo Freddie and Delmy, and shout out to them and all the family that's in Jersey right now. I think all of them are in Jersey right now.
Yeah, I think everyone pretty much moved up to Jersey. But I went to school in Massachusetts for a little bit, and again, fortunate because I didn't know that I had family there. And so before I fully made that switch over to college, I was able to meet them, and they said, yeah, just let us know when you want to come over, and we'll have dinner. You can stay over for the weekend, and da 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 da. And I always loved going over because it was just the sense of family that I missed so much, being away. That
it was the calmer family.
Yeah,
It was the calmer family.
Pumpkin patches. I got to go to a pumpkin
Yeah,
patch.
you legit stayed like in a Hallmark town.
Yes, it was 100% Hallmark, and that was in a time of my life where Hallmark was everything. That was the holiday season.
Except for I was always worried that you and Delmy might get in the car and go down that hill. Like, do you remember that? I was telling you some story. I was like, just don't go out when it's snowing in the car with Delmy.
Yeah. Which was pretty much always. But yeah, and making music with Steel Freddy, and going to church with them, and kind of getting to express music in church was really, really cool.
In a worship form.
Yeah, in a worship form, which, I mean, it's not that I haven't done that, but it was different than the way that I grew up.
Yeah.
Being that they could clap after it. And I was like, well, that's cool. Or
Yeah,
like
ours was
they
just
would clap
kinda like-
during it, or tambourines, at any point.
And any tempo.
Any tempo.
And I love that you had that opportunity. Number one, I know you were very homesick. So having family there, like, relieved my heart as a mother that you had someone to be with. But that also you shared the love of music. And then I also knew that you were going to be in church. Like, it's like good you weren't out there like partying. Which I know you weren't never a partier person. But you probably would be a busker, right?
Oh, I loved busking. Busking was so much fun.
In Boston.
Yeah, in Boston, it was, I mean, like, the neighborhood, like the street right above the one that my dorm was on, was called Newberry Street, and if you take it all the way down, it like ends up in a park.
Yeah, so it's like Commonwealth and Newberry and then Mass Ave.
Mm-hmm. It's Commonwealth, Newberry, Mass Ave.
I swear. It's Commonwealth, Newberry, and Mass Ave.
I passed Commonwealth.
Whatever.
Anyways. But I would go out. I made a friend with the drummer. His name was Seamus, and we both kind of wanted to make money. He wanted to make money so his girlfriend could come out and visit him in New York, and I just wanted to make money. And I mean, one time I had the flu. Like, I did not go to class. I was like kind of poor, kind of need some money. And I was like, hey, you still want to go out and bus? And he's like, yeah, let's do it, I went to the doctor that day to get a doctor's note for why I missed school. And he was like, yeah, girl, you got the flu. Like, you need to get yourself an EpiPen. You need to...
EpiPen for the flu?
No, because I told him about my
Oh,
allergies.
okay.
And he was like, yeah,
EpiPen for the
he was like, yeah, you could die. And I'm like, oh, nah. And then I was like, well, how much is an EpiPen? He's like, $200. I was like, no.
I'll die.
I'll eat chocolate. It's different. sweeter. And so me and Seamus would go out, and it's like 40 degrees, and I'm in my slippers with the flu.
Of course you were. Not the $100-something pair of shoes that your mom bought you.
Which I still have. and I might have to use. So,
Okay.
yeah, getting
Maybe.
some venues. But I took my guitar, my ukulele, and my very sick voice. He brought his drum kit, and we played outside a Walgreens for like 3 hours. And mind you, I just had a doctor's appointment 3 hours prior to that. And the doctor's office is not that far. So the doctor walks past me, stands right in front of me as I'm wailing, and he's like, he's like, I thought you were sick. And so I returned to my like raspy, like very sick voice, and I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're lying, and I was like, I'm not lying. I'm like, I can't speak. And he's like, how the hell were you just singing? And I was like,
Because I'm poor.
times. Yeah, desperate times, you know. And so my copay was $50, and he gave me $50 in the tip jar, and it was pretty cool. It was a cool experience.
Did you use it as a down payment for that EpiPen?
Not at all. Oh, that's the thing. He was like, "Go get your EpiPen," and I was like, "No, doc."
That's funny, but okay. See, that compensating. So we should probably do one more song.
We still got quite a bit we gotta do.
Yeah. So let's go back to trying to reach it right there. Wait, I should start it. Yeah. Anyways, going with Freddie. One more.
I gotta get through it.
I'm just taking supplement for him. It's really fun to just sit down and have conversation where I'm not yelling at you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's great.
actually really
It's fantastic.
comforting.
Because we're on camera. But so going back to with Freddie, Manuia, I love that you began to sing a lot of the worship songs, and Freddie and I are very passionate about that. He's currently pastoring the church that his father pastored for, I guess, most of his life. And will you share just a little bit of that song? It's one of the first songs we sang with Freddie and them at their house.
The first day we went.
The first day we went to their house.
Let's see if this is still in tune.
You don't have to play all of it if you don't want to. But it's a beautiful song.
It's like, oh no, sorry, that's crazy. If he carried the weight of the world upon his shoulders, I know my brothers that he would carry. He said, come unto me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful song. And I thought, wow, this is, she's getting some kind of good influence over there, and she's with family. And I remember you guys went to Rhode Island, or you guys were doing a couple of different little cities, right? And I always thought, God, that would be amazing if you could go with the trio. And then the trio got back together, and they started going everywhere. And then, you slipped back into regular life, and you assumed your life. But I was happy. Yeah. I was happy for that connection to your Puerto Rican side, because as a person who is a traditionalist, I could only do what I could do to raise you with what I do, and that was my culture. And I couldn't give you that other side. So it was important for you to connect with them and for you to go back to Puerto Rico, which takes me now to fast forward to the future, right? We were sitting here and I think we were having just a night where it was like all the cousins, right? Everybody was just here chilling.
Yeah.
I think we waited for everyone to leave and we were like, all right, let's go. We're gonna do this on our own, and brought up the tanwa, and we were all just jamming it out fob style, right? Literally like fob style. Oh,
Like not playing pop style, like, oh, put this song on, and then everyone's like,
brah, hold up.
Josh, you rolling.
Josh, you're rolling. And so it was such a good night. It was so chill. We had a great time, and then you were sitting over here, and you had on my glasses, which, by the way, look great on you, but I do think they look better on me when they're back in my possession. But you were sitting here and you were a little like, by the way, Mom, I think I'm going to church tomorrow. And I was like, okay. And you're like, I need my passport. And I was like,
no. I had already called you guys and said that, but Dad and you, I think, thought it was Chili's the restaurant.
yeah, that's exactly
for
what I
4
thought it
days.
was. And I was like, the hell? Why do you need your passport to go to Chile? And you're like, Chile the country, Mom. And I was like, Chile the country? Why are you going to Chile the country? I'm going to go with Karol G. And I was like, Karol G? What's that? Did I meet her? Did she come to the lounge? I remember thinking that, and you're like, no, Mom, the reggaeton singer. And I was like, sure. Oh, yeah, that girl. Yeah, she's super cool, or what have you. So I was like, you're going to sing reggaeton? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a new sign I haven't seen of you, right? I know you like it. But I was like, I never heard you play it. And so you're like, yeah, it's something that we're working on. Oh, what are you working on? I can't really say. And I was like, okay, listen, you can't tell your mom I'm leaving the country tomorrow on a whim. Do you know where my passport is? I can't really say what I'm doing, but I'm going with this big star, Karol G. And you're like, Mom, I can't say it. So I was like, but. And I just had to wait.
I can't say it, and honestly, I don't know either.
Right. Because I was like, so what's your flight information? Where are you going? You know, what's the deal? And how long are you going to be there? Yeah, and I was like, how are you going if they haven't booked your flight? You know, and then when you could tell us, you were like, I'm in Viña Del Mar. And I was like, what? Where's that? And you're like, Mom, this beach is amazing. It's so beautiful here. You were in Chile, and I remember thinking, oh my God, you need to call me. You need to let me know where you're going. I don't care how old you are. You're there, and it's a foreign country, and I don't know these people, and like, this is all too crazy, but tell me your experience.
I was.
Well, first of all, how did you hear about this?
Okay, yes.
I want to
This
make
is
sure
where
this
we
is
do
on.
the shout out.
Yes, I
right?
want to make sure this is on the camera.
So I got a call, and anytime I'm getting a call from a number I don't know, I answer with my voice like this. And I see it's like William Colon. And I'm like, what the heck is William Colon? Mind you, I've never heard him be called William. So I'm like, I don't know. Hello. Hey, Zion, hey, it's me, it's Willie. And I'm like,
Well, you.
I'm like, oh, okay.
What are you talking about,
He's
Willie?
like, wait, is this Zion? I was like, yes. He's like, it's Willie Cologne. When you knew me before, like I Meg. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
Meg is Maximum Entertainment Group.
Yeah, and that's where I met Willie Cologne and
Danny Flores.
Danny Flores.
That was through Uncle Jeremy.
Yeah, that was through Uncle Jeremy. That was my first like actual job where I was on the books somewhere.
And what did you do there?
And I was an ukulele teacher for little kids.
And how old were you?
I was
Legit 15?
Yeah, I was 15. And then I had my Sweet 16, which David Poso played at.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's crazy how 10 years ago I met these people and they remember me 10 years later, and now somehow I'm in Chile with Karol G. And just like literally at the Latin Billboard Awards. And that was just, it blew my mind.
Yeah,
But
she really couldn't tell me all that
Yeah.
info yet.
I also didn't know.
So I
I
kind of, what is it for? It's just like, I don't know about, there's like thousands of people there.
Yeah, and it broadcasts on YouTube live internationally. So it was pretty cool because I got messages from like my friends, my cousins, like, I just watched you, you did awesome. And I'm like,
Yeah, and we watched you here. We watched you here at the Kava Bowl. And I remember being so nervous, you know, like, oh my gosh, okay, I hope everything goes well for her. Then I look up at the top right of the screen and it says billboards. And I'm like, oh.
See, and I didn't even see that. I didn't know until later on when it was posted on billboards.
And
I
I was
had
like,
no idea.
she's at the Latin billboards? I was like, holy
Chicken.
things.
Yeah, that was crazy, and it was. I first off, I want to say I love Karol G's music, just because it makes me like feel that like Latin vibe, you know.
Oh,
Like,
that Latin DNA and you like,
yeah, it's like I
starts
gotta move.
feeling it.
Yeah, and I have no idea what the lyrics are. I really have to say it, but yeah, I love listening to her music, and so Willie, I'm on the phone with him, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, so can you go to Chile tomorrow?" And I'm like, "So what?" He's like, "Oh yeah, so you know Karol G, right?" And I was like, yeah." He's like, "Yeah, so okay, so basically I kind of work with her sometimes, and she asked for a Hawaiian girl ukulele player, and I knew exactly who to call. I just didn't have your number or any contact with you. So I went around asking all of our old coworkers and all of our old friends for your information, and I finally now, at 5 p.m., have been able to get a hold of you." And I was just like, absolutely, I don't care. I want to go. Like, this is incredible. And I'm like, wait, but to play Reggaeton? He's like, yeah. Don't worry, it's a song that she hasn't released yet. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so I literally get the music like while I'm here outside with all of our family and friends, who we just call family. And we're like sitting out on the 4 chairs that are set
They're
up outside.
friendly.
Yeah, our family. Never mind. Sorry, I was trying to say it in Hawaiian. And I don't know if.
Oh,
I'm
I
not.
know. Bete Hiku.
Okay, we'll get to that too. But basically, I get the music while I'm out here, and this whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna have to do some like crazy picking, like or something like that, you know. And I'm like so scared, and then they send me the track, and I'm like, okay, hold up, it sounds like it's just me and Karol G. That's it. And I was like, and it sounds like it's just reggae. It doesn't really sound reggaeton, you know? And I'm just like, yo, I don't want to say this too loudly. I think I got this. And so, flash forward, I basically spend 30 hours in Chile. I get there the day of the performance at 3 in the morning. I finally go to bed at like 5 in the morning. I have no idea what's gonna happen because I'm not getting any text. I didn't have
And they
the
might
app.
have been in Spanish too, right?
Yeah, and like the texts that did come through were like in Spanish. Thank you. And it was just like, I mean, the whole getting to Chile was crazy too. But I spent a night in Miami and Hialeah, and you know, spent a night in Miami. Then I caught a flight out to Panama and to Chile, and got there at 3 a.m. Went to bed around 5, and then woke up. Let me tell you about the Chilean food I had. I had room service. I
She
had
was like,
just
wait,
burger.
Hold on. She was like, I gotta go get something to eat. So I was like, oh, how's Chilean food? And she's like, I'm eating a burger, Mom. I'm like, a freaking burger?
I could not find any Chilean food. I literally walked around the whole like city, couldn't find Chilean food, and I was like, this is ridiculous. There was like 5 burger places, 4 pizza places, and then all the room service was like pasta.
I was like, you're eating hamburger in Chile?
Yeah, and even at the airport when I did eat something over there, it was McDonald's, which I don't even eat McDonald's in the U.S. So that was rough. That was rough for me. So that's it.
Yeah. I just want to say something real quick in regards to that. So, the time difference over there was crazy. So, Zion's calling me and she's talking to me and we're on Messenger, and I'm literally in bed like, You're not eating Chilean food? I just like sat up like, what do you mean? Like I literally sat up and I was like, what? Why are you eating a burger? This is like,
it was some good room service, so I will say that. But I mean,
that like woke me up out of bed.
Yeah. So basically, the day went, got there at 3 a.m., fell asleep at 5 something, woke up around 9. I couldn't really sleep because I was anxious. And I was like, well, let me go and walk over to somewhere, try to figure out something to do. Oh, and I didn't bring any makeup because I thought there was going to be like hair and makeup.
Yeah, I told her,
There
don't
was
worry,
not.
they have hair and makeup.
There
It's a
was
big
not.
deal.
So I had to go, I went on an adventure to try to find a pharmacy that was right across the street from my hotel.
Walgreens?
Didn't know. No, it was
She asked
like,
for
it
Walgreens.
was a verde.
She asked for Walgreens.
Anyways, back from that statement. And Chilean people were so nice too, because I was like, lo siento, yo soy hawaiana, mi español no es bueno, help. And like they would put me in the right, they would like put me in the right direction. Also, technology is incredible because I was literally able to communicate whatever, but I kept speaking like Hawaiian and French in Chile, which is
French.
South America.
Is French you could transfer a lot
Sort
of
of.
it. Good night.
Bye, have a good night, guys. And so I was at the beach the next day because I had like 5 hours to do something before I had to get on a bus to go back to the airport.
I'm gonna step aside real quick. This Kava's really, really hitting me. But I want you to go ahead and continue telling your story.
It's also
Please
hitting me,
step
so
aside.
I gotta try to keep it together in my mind. Dang, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, so I'm over and whatever, I'm on the beach buying stuff from people, from vendors, and trying to use the app and whatnot, and I could not remember how to say 27. And Manny, how do I say 20?
20.
20, right? So in Hawaiian, ehiku is 7. So I said 20 ehiku. And the woman looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I'm sorry. I just typed everything and I didn't speak another word. But the whole experience with Karol G was incredible. From the first moment that I saw her, it was just incredible. Like I got a little lost during the rehearsal because again, I was not there for very long, and I went up a couple stairs and went down a little too many stairs, and the next thing I know is I'm coming up the stairs and I see just like a horde of people coming through and cameras. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this has got to be somebody like famous, you know? And I'm like, oh, well, let me just move out of the way. Next thing I know, she looks over at me, and I don't recognize her because her eyebrows weren't done. And she looks over at me, and she like pushes the camera guy. She's like, I'm sorry, Zion. And I was like, she just said what name? It's like she just said my name. And I'm like trying to act professional at the same time. And she's like, thank you so much for being here. And like, you don't know how much this means to me. And I'm like, yeah, thank you for the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And like all her like posse is like, oh, you're from Hawaii, and blah, blah, blah. And it was crazy because she walks away and I like melted in my spot. But I have a question here. What's going on?
I was gonna say that lady in Chile is probably, legend has it that she's still pissed at what you told her.
Oh no,
She's probably like, what did you mean?
Well, I tried to explain. Well, we follow each other on Instagram, so she might be watching right now.
Hey,
I think she pretty much understood. This
Yeah.
girl has no idea what she's
She
talking
has
about.
no idea what's happening.
It's kind of like how we feel when people come here and tell us all kinds of crazy things about Kava, and we're just kind of like, what the heck? Okay, all right, you're cool though, but no, it's not what it is at all. So I think it pretty much is a mutual feeling, right?
Yeah, but we started on this train, and now I gained a little more focus. Chile, and then
Sure.
I went to Puerto Rico
That's it.
recently.
That's where I was
That's
getting.
where we're getting back to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did 3 concerts with her. And it was just so cool. I mean, in Chile, it was literally just she and I on the stage, and it was a very like just ukulele and vocal, and a very sweet moment.
Yeah.
It was really nice. But in Puerto Rico, there was dancers. I got to play with the full band.
Did you back up dance? Did you back up dance, girl?
I mean, I was like bobbing.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, whatever.
I thought you was gonna come out like bikini top, like that was dancing.
No. I'm in a flowy Hawaiian dress. From Old Navy. But
Or maybe in Hawaii though.
not Puerto Rico. But I mean, it was really just an incredible. I mean, I forget how many people were in that stadium. Check the comments because I'm pretty sure Sina has already put it in there. She's on top of everything.
She is.
Also, shout out to her because she helped me to like figure things out, and like she sent me Kava bar places out there, and she's like, oh, don't go to this part of the ocean because tides or whatever, or there's a rip current or whatever. So I mean, she helped me out a lot.
That's a girl who knows her island.
Yes.
And respects her island.
Yes, just incredible. And even Kiki, shout out to Kiki. We were trying to plan something, didn't happen, but and then I randomly, just out of nowhere, ran into an old coworker from Orlando.
That's crazy.
Out there as
You were at El Morro, right?
yeah, and I didn't know I was gonna go there. I didn't think I had any time that day.
Yeah.
And he's not from that part of the island, so it was literally just like chance, yeah. And he's like, there's no way that's her right now. And he's at the bottom of the mountain, and I'm like huffing and puffing because I walked up the stairs, and he runs up the mountain, and I'm like,
Mountain? The hill.
oh, the hill. Sorry, not mountain. I'm from Florida. We don't know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
difference.
Florida.
he runs up the hill as I'm like huffing and puffing, trying to not seem like I'm huffing and puffing towards the ocean, which I was just gonna walk away. And he was like just running up. I'm like, why is this dude just running straight at me? And he's like, there's no way that's you. And I mean, when I finally like realized who it was, we just ran to each other and embraced him in like a super, super tight hug. And he was like, I knew it was you because you had a flower. He's like, I knew it was you. He's like, I didn't think I was going to see you, but I'm so happy. And so we chatted for maybe 30 minutes, and then I had to go to rehearsal. But that whole experience was just great. I made some friends with Jenny. Jenny's a tuba player who plays with Karol now in a song called Gucci Los Panos, which I love that song. And also the DJ. Wow, I'm blanking on her name. That's not good.
Well, save it for later.
Oh, well, her name is Bianca, but I don't know. Her name is Bianca, but she goes by DJ BB or something like that. Yeah, DJ BB. And yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I got to meet some friends.
Speaking of her, so I remember I think we were on FaceTime and we were talking and of course I was like doing the 10 million question thing to you and you're like, I don't know, Mom, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh my god, Sean Paul just went.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And I was like, oh, go back and tell him.
Strong. Okay. Guys, not only did I get to play with one of my favorite reggaeton artists, but I also got to watch Sean Paul live in concert. And Sean Paul is a big part of my childhood because my parents have great taste in music.
Yes, we do.
And like he walked right under me, like I was on the stadium and I just filmed him walking by. And I also filmed like him performing and whatnot, but to be honest, I was screaming, so no audio can come out of that correctly. But it's still a moment that it doesn't matter if there's audio or not. I'm going to remember that because it was such a big deal for me. And my friend Jenny, she just took off. She was like, "You think I could get a picture with him?" And I'm like, I mean, you can ask, but like, do you really want to? And by the time I said, "Do you really want to bother him?" she was already in there snapping a picture of him. I mean, just like she was like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" Walks out.
Dang,
he's not a poster, you know. But even DJ BB, Bianca, she's a dancer as well as a DJ. She started off as a dancer, and she would dance for Sean Paul. So she is like super cool with him, and like he even did like a shout out to her, and yeah, it just super cool. So like I look into his dressing room, and she's just there chatting with him, and I'm like, this is not real. This is not real.
We'll go back and tell him this. And she's like, Mom, I am not gonna go back and tell him that.
Because I was like, listen, when it comes to celebrities,
this mic is really hot.
so many people are like bothering them all the time that I don't want to bother them. Yeah. Oh, I will say it was kind of cool because Karol G's aunties wanted to take a picture with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're like, oh, can I take a picture with you? I'm like, oh, sure, yeah. They were like all dressed out, and yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool.
So let me ask you, the first time you went to Puerto Rico, because you've been back several times now, and then playing music with your family there, and then experiencing music on a different level. How did that feel?
I guess taking it from like an area of comfort, and just like, yeah, I guess family. Because even though it was like the first time we met Jolie and Kiki, they were family from the beginning. So taking it from that comfort of family in a beautiful place to being on stage with, you know, I didn't really know, and performing for people I didn't really know in such a large stadium. It's just like mind blowing. Like it was so energetic.
And how did they receive you?
I mean, the first night was kind of funny because the first like 3 rows, which is pretty much all that I could see, were just like staring, and I was like, "This is not what I thought it would be." But like everyone else in the crowd was like screaming, and like it was incredible. Like I felt like I was flying.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I felt like I was flying. And then the second night got better. Third night got better. And just, I feel like my confidence also started to, come through with every performance that we did.
It did. It definitely changed because it changed in your whole vocal countenance too. When we spoke and for the first night of being a little timid and anxious of, I'm kind of not sure of this and that to, I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. I could hear that smile in your voice. It was coming out so bright and excited. And the last night, you were like, I think we go out to the crowd and really enjoy it. And I was like, go.
Yeah. And I did. I got to like go out and I watched Romeo Santos and Karol G perform together, which was super cool. But also then she just played one of my favorite songs of hers, and I lost it. Like I was just screaming in the crowd, and it was kind of cool too because I was still wearing my costume except for the shoes. I had to put on comfy shoes, and like I literally ran from backstage, and I went live on on Instagram for that because I wanted everyone to see what I was saying, And so I ran through, and I was like, oh shoot, I just realized that like maybe it might not be safe for me to be out here because now people are staring at me, And there was one really sweet moment where I'm just like jamming and like dancing, and I look over and there's a girl who's wearing a flower in her ear, and she looks over at me, and it's just kind of one of those like no way, And so she looks over at her boyfriend, and then they both look up at me, and I'm like, and they were just like it was just so like cool, and people in the audience too, they were just kind of like, there's nah, it's not her.
And you're like, yeah, me,
and I'm just like, hey, what about? But it was really cool, really just an experience that I don't think I will soon forget.
Yeah. How did that feel for you? Being mixed, being mixed rooted, and how did that feel for you to go back to your roots on that side? Because you've been back to your roots on our side, my side, often, unfortunately, but how did that feel for you to be able to actually go there with a reggaeton singer and yet still represent your Hawaiian side, your Polynesian side, right? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy. Like, I don't know, because I mean, everyone's like, oh, the Hawaiian girl. But then they also expect me to speak Spanish, even though they think I'm only Hawaiian. And then they find out that I'm Puerto Rican, and they're like, I don't like why you don't speak Spanish, And but they've gotten a lot better with like, oh, she doesn't speak Spanish. We have to actually communicate. But also, I feel like I've been able to pick up a little bit.
Can you count it in Spanish? No, I'm just kidding.
A little bit. But it was just like energizing. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Very much so. I don't know. The lights turn on and it's like I'm almost a different person.
Yeah.
But yeah, to represent.
Who's your Sasha Fierce?
Zion Fiercer.
Zion
Zion
Fiercer.
Fiercer. I don't know.
The Morpheus. The Morpheus.
It's just, yeah, it was really cool. Like, everyone's like, oh, the Hawaiian, you know, and I just think it's really cool to be able to represent that. And even, like, I'll tell you guys something about in Chile. She wanted me to wear a natural flower, which was, you know, good. But I was wearing a tiare, which is pretty much only from, you know, that side of the world, from the Pacific, especially in Tahiti. And so I was like, okay, like I don't mind, but is it possible for me to wear this? And I loved that immediately. She was like, yeah, represent your culture, just represent you. And even I'll say this, you know, I follow her on Instagram, and she posted something where, you know, her hair wasn't like completely done, and like her roots were coming through. Her hair is kind of faded. It's kind of pinker now and not as red. And it was just a very like natural photo of her. And she was basically, the next photo was a super edited photo of her on a magazine cover. And she was saying like, this is not what I asked for. This is not me. I'm proud of, you know, who I am, what I look like, and this is me natural. So there's no reason for you to be changing me. She said, I know that I could face repercussions for this, but I don't care. This is not me. And this is a message to all women that, like, we're not even comfortable with this as celebrities to be changing, because natural beauty is beautiful. And I just thought that was like incredible, because she, like, at first I was like, dang, no hair and makeup, like what the heck? But then I watched as she lets each person express themselves through their makeup and choose which costumes, although there has to be some uniformity, you know? But it's very much like whatever you're comfortable with. And that's one thing that they kept saying to me, except that she wants me in a dress, and I'm not really comfortable in dresses, but hey, I'll take it, you know? And yeah, they're like, well, if you don't like this dress, find another dress, because she doesn't want you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, and can I just say, I mean, kudos to her for having an all-girl band, first of all.
Hell yeah.
Dope as
They are just
hell,
incredible,
man.
incredible musicians. I mean, Sus on guitar, well, pretty much all strings. Patri on bass, Gemma, who's actually, she said she was from like Michigan, but she married a Peruvian guy and lives in Peru now. Like, yeah, it's super cool. She's on keys. Juliana, she's the drummer, and DJ Bibi, who is actually from St. Martin. So she's not, you know, Latina, but she's still, you know, representing the Caribbean. Yeah, which I think is cool too, because reggaeton, whether they want to say it or not, is derived from dancehall. So, you know, kind of comes from that area, you know, and yeah, I just thought it was super cool. And then she includes me, which I'm a female artist who is half Puerto Rican, half Polynesian, and then she brought on two other girls, Jenny and and Allie. Allie didn't end up staying with us, but she played the accordion, and Jenny played the tuba, and just like, it's really cool. And she really tried to pull people from which culture she was pulling from, and I love that, because Gucci Los Baños is like kind of like a Mexican, you know, like a music genre.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too, right? Because I think of when you're speaking about that, I think about how the Polynesian islands were Hawaiian, Tahitian. We grew up with a mix of Polynesians. We, you know, learned Maori, Samoan, Tongan, and Fijian, and but yet we still give that respect to that culture, and we seek that source to make sure that we're doing it right. Which is, in hindsight, what she's doing is to, hey, let me honor where this inspiration came from, and I think that's really respectful.
Yeah, I really commend her on that, and even just the choice of her band. Like, she's Colombian herself, so most of her staff is Colombian. She's supporting her people,
Sure.
you know, and I think that's super cool. Most of her like sound techs, all of her like everybody, they're pretty much all Colombian. The guitar player, which is the lead, Sus, is Colombian. Then there is Juliana, who is Argentinian. Then we have Patri, who is from Uruguay. Yeah. Then we have, DJ BB from St. Martin. So leaving, the Latino, South America, but also touching back to honor the dance hall roots of reggaeton with picking somebody who's Caribbean. And then, also saying like, hey, you can be married into this and you're still part of it, which is with Gemma. Gemma's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, girl from Michigan.
Cool.
And, she married into a culture and she has respect for it, so she respects that as well. And I think she's done a great
really
job.
inclusive.
Very inclusive, yeah. And I just think it's great.
Yeah. It's amazing, and it's great to see females empowered in this industry, because for a very long time it was very male dominated, and especially in reggaeton. I've seen that transform through the years, and
There's a lot of female reggaeton artists now.
yeah. So speaking of just females in general, right now, who are some of your female inspirations in terms of music?
Adele, Sarah Bareilles, Ingrid Michaelson,
Your mom,
my mom,
yeah.
Amy Winehouse, even though she's not here anymore, still her music is powerful, and
Valerie, that's the song that always reminds me. It's the Valerie one that you sang, Rock the Mic.
yeah,
More Amy Winehouse.
yeah, BB Kings. It was the competition.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was really cool. It was just another thing from Meg, the Meg
Yeah,
days.
definitely.
Yeah. And
It's amazing.
It's been really cool.
So, you're going to be traveling a little bit more. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That means we're gonna be working here a lot more. Sorry, you guys are stuck with us, but yeah, congratulations. I think that's something that as a musician, there sometimes comes that point where you're like, I want to take my music and just go on the road and travel. And how has that been to step aside from Polynesian entertainment and just like us as a family traveling with music?
Educational entertainment.
That's right, Polynesian
Not
educational entertainment, not commercial. Yeah, there's a difference.
Well, I will say, kind of exploring. I didn't ever play it again, but now I'm like, okay, all right, I'm starting to really understand the music of it and watching it played, and it's a very high energy. Like you're going to be moving no matter what. Even if you think I don't like reggaeton, you're gonna end up moving. There's no way. So I think it's really cool, but also being able to my favorite sound tech, amazing guy. His name is Leo, and he's from Colombia, and he takes care of all the strings and drum and everything. My ukulele had a little weird thing going on with it, and he fixed it. Some serious, as we would call it, Tahitian ingenuity.
Yeah.
With the pool noodle to hug the inside to staples, and
Wow.
just fun. And I walked up to him, I was like, oh, you figured it out? Oh, you're like a mine. And he was like, what? He's like, what? What did you say? I was like, oh, sorry, Akamai is like smart. And he was like, oh, can you write that on my thing? And I was like, oh, sure. He was like, and he has this whole like little part in his like toolbox that's just like things that people have said to him that made him smile.
Oh.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just such a sweet, like, and he's an older guy too. He's
He's the one in the video.
with
the
the glasses and they're like dancing. I mean, and then he hugged one of the other guys.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, just working with them is incredible. Just incredible. Pipe too. Like, he's always running around, but he's always there, ready to take care of you at the same time. You know, and I mean, just the people were great. Like, all the sound techs were fantastic, and I don't remember the original question.
Neither do I. That is really impacting. I know we've been going for a long time, and this actually has been a really
Do we
a
still
nice.
have people on?
We're still on.
Really?
Yeah, it looks like
You guys are so crazy too.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey. What time did we get out of here last night? 2:30. Hey.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yeah. Before we end it, so I wanted to kind of go back to just your experiences with traveling, and you've traveled to several different countries now, even before Karol G, and a lot of musical experiences. And as with Fusion Fest as well, I feel like we've traveled the world with Fusion Fest, right? Right here in Central Florida, having amazing experiences, and you have some upcoming collabs. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta do this like a race. But so the thought was, so you've traveled with your music and just got to experience different cultures. How has that impacted you?
Within my travels, I had always wanted to go to Australia, just because I read a book once.
Are you sure it wasn't that mermaid show you guys used to
Oh
watch?
my gosh!
No.
No, but it was
No.
But it was mostly the book that I read, because there was a section where they talked about like the sky and the different colors and how they painted themselves, and to me, I just was like, that's incredible. Like,
The Aborigine?
yeah, and it was just like, I want to experience that. Now I went to the wrong part of Australia for that. Definitely did. But I did get to at least experience one Aboriginal person. And that's what I really wanted to do on that 3-month trip. I went to Australia, then to New Zealand, and then ended home in Tahiti.
And then Cali.
Oh yeah.
Then
Oh,
you flew home.
Cali and then
Dropped some
Cali again.
recording here.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
we
was
never even
crazy.
talked about that.
No, we have never recapped on that. But I mean, yeah, it was like a 3-month
So you've
adventure
you've
where
done-
I was like I was not really here in Orlando at all. I wasn't even in Florida. So I went to Australia. I did get to see the Sydney Opera House, just the outside of it. Didn't make it inside, but that was all I needed. I got to see the Sydney Harbor. We made it out on an adventure to Bondi Beach, where we got to see, shout out to Tanya Wersick. We got to see her mural out there, which somehow I blended right in, like my
That
clothes
was so
matched.
funny.
Yeah, I did not plan that at all. And even like my eyeshadow was like orange, and like although my shirt was like green and blue, which pretty much I blended into the wall. But even like the fruits, like the papayas and the mangoes, my eyes matched them too. So I thought it was really cool. But I mean,
And reading the poem.
Yeah, and reading the poem, and like the people that I met along the way, just still to this day, although we may not talk all the time, like I just really enjoy their presence, and I still love watching everything that they do. In Australia, on Bondi Beach, I met. Oh gosh, I forget how to say her name. But he is from Amsterdam. He's from Amsterdam, and he and his girlfriend were vloggers, and they would travel. And I still, to this day, follow him and follow up with all the things that he's doing and acting and playing music now, and just like there's a short little clip that he asked to borrow my uke to play a song, and I'm like, oh yeah, go ahead. And bust out playing this really like Jack Johnson song, really mellow song, and from there on, I was like, yeah, we need to connect. Like I don't care, we may never actually speak words to each other again, but that was a good connect, And I was only there in Australia for a few days. Hopped over to New Zealand, Journey, Love You, with my little sister, my Maori little sister, and Ellison and Kahurangi.
You experienced graffiti.
I did, and it was
Traditional Maori graffiti.
it was just like chicken skin, like goosebumps. But not even just goosebumps. It's like I could feel like the energy
Manda.
outside, the mana, exactly. And it was incredible. Just and finding out one of my favorite places in the whole world is Te Mata Peak, which I got to experience with Lokilani and Journey, where we missed the sunrise, but we still went anyways, all bundled up. And we sat out there and took some drone shots, and
Yeah, I just saw those pictures the other day.
yeah, it pops up on my thing often because I have it set up to where all my travels will play on my phone, so I can remember them. And it was a great time, and then even at that, like going back from that drive from it ended up being like a 12-hour drive
Yeah, I remember.
to get over to her house. Which again, a journey at this point was like 12.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
she was like
Yeah.
12, and we got to pull her out of school early, which was cool because I felt like an older sister.
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, like it was just really cool. And then we went to Mata Peak. We went to McDonald's, got her breakfast.
Yeah, but the food is so different.
Yes, no. The food is very fresh. It's not like American McDonald's where it's just like I feel like crap after eating it. They actually put quality ingredients into their McDonald's. And so she really wanted McDonald's, and that was the last time we saw her. So we took her to McDonald's, we dropped her off at school, and that was the end of it. And I went back to what's that city called? New Zealand? Auckland. Where I met her mom. Well, I didn't meet her.
Ellison.
Yeah, I met her here.
Ellison.
That's how we connected. And she didn't know that I played music because I didn't ever think it was important to tell her. I mean, I'm a little bozo sometimes. But it was. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Auckland, so I won't be there in Hastings."
Yeah.
And Hastings, to stay with you guys and whatnot. But don't worry, my mom and my daughter will take great care of you. And she was like, "But I am gonna be in Auckland, so if you want to come by, I have like two extra tickets to Pacific Music Awards." And I'm like, yes. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even need to tell you because yeah, this is
Yeah,
just
you
the
told
coolest
me,
thing.
and I was like, go,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, incredible. And what's going on? More people? Hey people, what's up?
I said,
Oh, are there questions while we finish this? Try to see if there's any comments.
Yeah. Okay, you guys,
Alright.
fix it. But I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
So we had VIP tickets to the Pacific Music Awards, and honestly, I didn't know all of them. I knew Sons of Zion because they're my sons. But yeah, I didn't really know any of the other artists. But there is where I found some of my favorite artists that I still listen to. My Fijian husband, who's not my husband, sadly. Oh, sorry.
Oh, there's me.
No. Anyways, the man could sing. I mean, like his lyrics were profound. His voice was insane. And
Wait. So what did
Lady
it?
Six.
What did it feel like to be in
And
the?
then wait, just real quick. We have VIP seats. I mean, this incredible artist, Seth Hapu. Hapu. I think in Maui they just say Hapu, yeah?
Yeah.
Hapu. And I did not know he was like an artist. You know, I just thought, oh yeah, they're like cool friends or whatever. We have like dinner provided for us. We're sitting down, really just enjoying everything. Then I realized, oh my gosh, everyone that's getting called to awards is sitting right by me. And I'm like, oh, I'm like in the thick of it. This is so cool. And, you know, he's like, hey, you know, we should go hang out. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's do it, whatever. I'm not a party type person whatsoever. I was like, let's go, let's do something. And I mean, it was just incredible.
And you guys ran into Wukilani's uncle.
Yeah, that same night we ran into Wukilani's uncle. And the thing is, like, the guy is looking at us like, and he hears an American accent. He's
Huh?
like,
Huh?
like, he hears an American accent. He's like, and he walks up to Wookie, and he's like, "Hey, what's your name?" He's like, "My name's Wukilani. Why?" he's like, "Hey, who's your dad?" He's like, "Oh, my dad is Uncle." He's like, "Oh, I'm your uncle." It was just like so random. He's like just staring at us and then walks up. And like, what's your name? What's your dad's name? I'm your uncle. And he's like, no way, you're my uncle? So that's crazy. He's like, I used to watch all your videos and whatever, blah blah blah, on the CocoNet and all that. Yeah, I mean, just freaking funny. And then I got to meet Alien Weaponry the very next day, and any of you who like indigenous music, especially metal, check them out because they are young. They're very rooted, even though they look
Pakiha.
they look just like white kids, but they can trace their ancestry back so far.
They do in their songs. Call it.
Yes, and I mean they're just incredible writers. The musicality, even though it's metal and people are like, oh, it's not a genre of music, it's just noise. No, it's not. I mean, they are incredible.
Layers upon layers upon layers of just intelligence.
Crazy. And then, you know, filming things randomly on this journey and
No, but let me ask you before we leave the Pacific Music Awards.
I'm so sorry.
What did that feel like for you as a Pacific Islander here in the United States to
see people like me?
Yeah, but in a large capacity like that in music, running their own freaking music. How did that feel? Because here we're the minority of the minorities.
Yeah. And I mean, over there, it's definitely Aotearoa.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very much so still.
Which is still very diverse.
Yeah, yeah. But still very Polynesian central,
Yeah.
And it gave me kind of like a sense of hope. Like I could get to this. This could be me at some point, And it's like I'm here now, I'm right here experiencing this, and maybe next time it could be me.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And before we leave New Zealand, actually previous to, it was previous to, right? We did the opening of Volcano Bay
Yeah.
with another Polynesian group here locally.
Lazy Rika.
And they flew in freaking Maisie Rika.
That was crazy. It was crazy.
Te Wakanui.
Just like
And the ladies from Vanuatu. The water ladies from Vanuatu. What was that like?
I mean, you were there,
I
but if
know.
we're playing strangers, right?
We're playing strangers.
It was. I mean, on the commercial end, right? On the commercial end, it was spectacular, right? A fusion of culture to make a new culture.
Vanuatu.
But on the end of roots, right? To be able to experience each other's cultures as one Polynesian people was